Hey, hi exiles, welcome into the channel, and I am Iron Man. No, I'm not. I'm Omega Beams, and I have an ungodly addiction to all things Path of Exile 2. And I'm going to get these intros right one day. But for now, we've got an absolute banger of a patch that is due to drop end of next week, beginning of the week after, and it covers a wide range of things that are coming out to the game, and we're going to go through it. So if you want to just sit back, slide your phone to the side, just listen to the ramblings of an absolute buffoon, please do so. But before you do that, tickle that subscribe button. It helps me out, see? Anyway, Grinding Gear Games has released the patch notes for their upcoming 2.1 patch that, like I say, is due out next week, beginning of the week after, depending on how things settle. So we're going to go over the patch notes here. We've got a range of things: Endgame, unique, some new socketables, changes to the twisted domain, a plethora of things to get our teeth into, and as I say, we're gonna run through it now, and we're gonna go over the notes and see what they have got for us. Let's start with the endgame rewards. When setting up the frequency of encounters and rewards for Path of Exile 2, we have to decide how many maps players will have to do in order to get them. So they're talking about exciting things like divines and all stuff like that. After extensive playtesting, which is what we're doing as a community in this early access, we now believe that we overshot this number pretty substantially. In this patch, we improved the baseline experience of getting rewards for monsters and chests, but we still feel you don't get enough of those exciting spike moments when something very powerful or valuable drops, like a divine or a chase item. There actually are some very cool items to find, but you won't ever find them because they are incredibly rare. Okay, so they're now upping the rarity, so you might get an Astramentus drop, and you're going to go wild. I know stat stacking isn't like as big as it was in the last season, but them items do need to drop a little bit more. Unique items. Okay, we are going to be significantly improving both the drop rates and the of the incredibly rare items and uniques. Yeah, unique items we already have, as well as adding a bunch of new exciting and good. This is a big W. That will take your builds to new heights. I hope so. We are also buffing some of the rarer uniques that were intended to be chase but didn't live up to the standard. You should see significantly more chase uniques than before, and we'll be doing a post showing some new uniques next. Very good, very good. Me as a player, I personally like chasing items, doing the trials and the pinnacles. But as it goes at the moment, they watered down some of them uniques and chase items that it just doesn't make it worth target farming, basically. So yeah, I'm happy with that, absolutely. Crafting socketables. So one of the issues that we have with the socketable crafting system at the moment is by the time you get to the end game, there isn't really anything new or exciting to find to socket in your gear. Fair enough. Most people, depending on your build, will probably put an iron ruin in, or maybe one of the res ones just to top up their reses. But there isn't anything really in there that benefits you, really. Like soul cores, maybe, if you're using the Tangled Tongue, you maybe put the crit one in, but as gear socketables, there's nothing really more than an iron ruin or a little bit of extra life that I'd put in. Ideally, you should be swapping all of these out for more interesting, more powerful mods. In this patch, we are adding 22 new ruins, 14 new soul cores. Okay, Trials of Secumus, Trials of Chaos have just got a little bit more spicy, and 7 new talismans. I've got to admit, I've not used any of the talismans thus far. And these cover a full spectrum from being powerful to insane. Okay, we like the insane, but are rare to find. You will certainly want to use them over the normal base set of socketables. Good. Rituals also suffered from us pitching the chase rewards to rare as well. We're making the rare omens from rituals. Yeah, like the whittling. I'll never see one, I don't think. And it'd be nice to see one. So if they up the chase item, because they're multiple divines, so you'll see the same number of omens, but they'll have a significantly higher probability of being rarer. Okay, so maybe not get such trash omens anymore. Corrupted essences are at it. Will also be increasing the commonality of getting corrupted essences when using Val orbs or monsters trapped in essences by approximately 6 times. Cool. I like the essences. If I do ever craft anything, crafting ain't my thing, but if I do ever try to craft a little something, I'll always put an essence and a greater essence on, just to see if I can get, if I can hit something more than I want, rather than the gamble. Rogue Exiles, something that I don't really farm. Rogue Exiles just didn't have enough unique items, so we're increasing the frequency that Rogue Exiles have, and thus drop unique items by approximately 3 times. That's good. That's good, because the Rogue Exiles that I have encountered, it's just absolute dog items. I don't think there's anything that I've gone, wow, that'd be good, even through campaign, but certainly not in endgame. I've not found anything that'd be like, wow. It'd be nice if they had like a ring or an amulet on them that you think, whoa, that's going straight on my build. Okay, Twisted Domain. Zesht, the boss in the Twisted Domain, was pretty valuable. Yeah, he was last season, but as the endgame area, the rest of it was pretty underwhelming compared to the other content you were doing at the time. Pinnacle content shouldn't be given less rewards than the dozens of maps required to gain access to it. Absolutely. I think what they're talking about here is just before you go into the arena, you get that big drop of items. To start with, we have substantially increased the number of rare monsters that spawn during the domain. Okay, yep, okay, so you'll get better rewards. Previously, there would often be no rare monsters at all. In addition, we have changed the balance of quantity and rarity that monsters in the domain have. This will mean the large group of items that occur right before the boss fight should now have way more valuable, should be way more valuable than before. See, this is going to be good, because we can start farming the Twisted Domain a bit more, especially for them breach rings that we can maybe craft, because you can, oh god, some of the breach rings that I see popping up through the global chat are just silly. I would love to be able to craft something like that. We now also guarantee some rare breach rings, good, in the resulting drop. So you should come away with at least a decent chance of some powerful items. Perfect. I like it. Expedition logbooks. Okay, so one thing that makes logbooks unrewarding, the fact that the very high levels of a few monsters spawning and end up yielding significantly less items. Yeah. This reflected in the fact that low level 90s, you should do an entire level 80, the highest possible level. Logbook and not even gain 1% of level experience. Okay, so they're on about the experience here. We're doing a pass on the amount of monsters spawning to intensify the combat, but focus on very high level ones to better match the consistency of other endgame content. personally, I am not an expedition fan. But if they're going to up the XP, this could be something worth farming. The first change is that we're increasing the distance between the explosives and the radius. Okay, yeah, so you can cover more area. This will now ultimately uncover more monsters and rewards. On top of this, we're also increasing the number of monsters spawned to be more reflective of what the endgame map has in it. Additionally, we're also making changes to the specific features found in each of the different logbook areas. So the Lush Isles, area currently has I don't know what that says. Totem remnants. That cause the monsters to give substantially increased experience. It also has the fenced off areas where you can explode the fence and gain access to totems that drop a lot of currency items. On the beaches, there are small corruption pustules and drop uncut skill gems. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm not a massive fan of the expedition. So in order to improve this area, we're increasing the number of remnants, especially with the experienced ones. Okay, so they're making it into a bit of more of an XP farm. Additionally, we will generate more of the fenced area sections, and the larger change to the pustules, whatever that word says, will be made, where destroying any of them will cause all monsters on Earth afterwards to spawn. Corruption monsters on death, similar to those in the corrupted areas on the Atlas, combined with the base change to drastically increase the number of the base monsters spawned during logbooks. It is intended that the Lush Isles provides a very good source of experience. Okay, so I know I've just read it, but the TLDR is basically expedition in the Lush Isle will be more of an XP gain. The Frigid Bluffs logbook area is an icy tundra with Val architecture, Val resonance frozen in time. Aside from traditional expedition monsters, chests, you can explode these Val objects free. Relatively underwhelming. There were a few monsters that were not more rewarding than normal expedition monsters, and on top of that, remnants just cause the monsters' drops to be corrupted, which is more arguably a downside. Yeah, absolutely. So they're going to make a couple of changes on top of the Val monsters. We're now going to have some Val bosses frozen in time too. These are standalone map bosses that can be broken out and fought. All the remnants modifiers will apply to them as normal. The Val remnants that cause items to drop corrupted are being reworked. Now they will guarantee 1 of 3 upsides and 1 to the 3 downsides. So the normal remnants have, okay. Think of them as just super remnants. So they've just added a new level of boss, basically. The Baron of Patal logbook. Travel as fishermen. Have used stored treasure and supplies. It currently has crates filled with gold. This is the gold. Strong boxes and azimite runes. The issue is that the crate drops far too little gold. And far too few strong boxes and runes. After changes, we create going to drop a significant amount more gold, and we're going to generate a lot more strong boxes, and by a lot I mean over 10 times as many. Oh, of which could be unique strong boxes too. The azimuth runes, aside from already adding rarity to all subsequently unearthed monsters, will now also drop 2 to 4 additional runes instead of existing 1. Given we're adding some new chase rune drops. Okay, so that's obviously what they mean by the runes. For earlier on, there's going to be some chase runes as well. So this may prove to be a good source to get them. Okay. Endgame content. The second main focus is increase the variety of running endgame maps. So the second main focus, we're going to increase the variety of running endgame maps right now. Did you know that if you were to generate 400,000 maps, 150,000 of them would be the Hidden Grotto? Oh, wow. We are currently sick of running this area and fighting that same boss on repeat. Jesus. I didn't know it was that many. I mean, I know there is a lot of hidden grotto in there. Intention here is to normalise the frequency in different maps, and thus boss fights appear on the atlas. This is good. This will make things feel far less repetitive when playing the endgame, especially for many, many hours, like me, an absolute Path of Exile 2 glazer. Citadel spawning has been adjusted, good, because I still haven't found the bloody stone citadel. Jesus. Now whenever a citadel is generated on the atlas, it also ensures it generates... Oh, good. It will generate the other two types of citadels near it. This is perfect. We can get into the Arbiter much quicker doing this. I like this change. This will prevent cases being seen where players would, due to the whims of random generation, get many, many of the same... I haven't done Arbiter yet, purely because I can't find that last friggin' fragment, the stone citadel. So I am happy with that. Get many, many of the same citadels one after another, but never be able to fight the Arbiter. Good. Yeah, absolutely. I will take that. Both these changes to the atlas layouts won't apply to areas on the atlas that you've already revealed. In order to get the improvements, you will need to explore further away from the parts of the atlas that haven't been generated yet, of course. Additionally, you can expect some other endgame improvements, such as reducing the danger of the two ritual types that were just Ruckus of Purple Chaos. It's pretty much one of the only things that I die to now, but I'm not rare. I've got 10% res of Chaos, so what am I expecting? Reducing the danger, increasing telegraphing of the volatile plants. Friggin' hell. Yeah. When you were getting chased around a ritual by them volatile plants. Whew. Monster modifier combined, these are responsible for half of all player deaths in the endgame. Can you imagine that? The volatile plant and the archers that fire those bloody chaos bubbles on the floor. Jesus Christ, just one bomb you. You're also lowering some of the more dangerous map modders like Elipen, that's good. Elemental penetration, that's good because that is hardcore. As a modifier, improving the rewards and visibilities of omens in the Viridian Wildwood unique map, increase the radius of the open class hands. Okay, good. So no longer do you have to like walk up to it and tickle it. You might be able to just sort of like walk near it. Reducing the pack size of bats at shotgun you. Just do. God, once you get stunned by one of them, it's game over. With projectiles in a twisted domain, reworking the curse map mods. These are just some of the more isolated improvements coming. The Trials of Secamus. Now, first season, I was a Trial of Secamus slut. I loved it. So what have we got here? In the Trial of Secamus, we adjusted the affliction that caused you to have no energy. Okay, so all you CI boys and girls out there, your game is no longer over once you take no energy shield. You've got a little glimmer of hope. Yeah, for the Chaos Inoculation build, so when the randomly gets the affliction, the run isn't effectively over. Yeah, perfect. UCI boys and girls. Top of this was discovered a mistake with a chance of getting certain afflictions and boons. Specifically, there was one affliction, 2 minor boons and 1 major boon, and 1 pact that had 100 times the commonality they should have. This would have caused players to constantly be getting them as their first randomly generated outcome, and then these boons were particular, the weaker and more boring ones. It often would have made the runs less rewarding and interesting. Okay. So last little bit, some QOL, it's quality of life and experience changes. We did some notable quality and life improvements in the last patch, but these are more. But there are more coming. Oh, good. We have a huge improvements to searching on the passive tree, and when using keyboard and mouse. Now, when you search a passive tree by typing the text field, You can press enter to automatically find and go to the passive. Okay, so you don't have to... They're just making things more streamlined here, are they? You know, I know PoE1, it takes you straight to the passive stone that you type in. Search continues, press enter, cycle through them. Also darkens the rest of the passive tree to help bring the search nodes to the foreground, making them much easier to see. A huge request has been that we invert the display of the tier. Ah, okay, so they are going back to Path of Exile 1's tier system. So no longer is the higher tiers the better stuff. Tier 1 is the tits, you know? And then you'll get tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, whatever. So tier 1 is the one. That is what you want. That is good. That is perfect. This is so that you can immediately identify if a modifier is the best it can be on the item. This is more of an advanced and endgame players, but it's very important to being able to quickly access the true power of an item, or if it's an appropriate crafting base. That's the dog scratching his head and eating his own foot. So, yeah, that is massive W on the atlas. When hovering the map, separate the categories of modifiers displayed so you can more easily see when those modifiers are coming from. Where those modifiers are coming from. Specifically, you can now determine if they are from corrupted or cleansed influences in one category, and if influences in one category, and if they're from the towers in other category. This will help make it clearer when looking for specific modifiers like +1 levels in corrupted influenced areas. There is also performance improvements coming. Okay, yeah, we've all had bugs and frustrations. They continue to work on it, and they'll get it right. They will get it right. Making them significant improvement. Performance. We're optimizing the physics on monsters and NPCs across game. This is making them significantly cheaper, and will cost less CPU-bound bottlenecks on performance. This issue is prevalent everywhere, but is common in areas of lots of humans, such as the Ferrodin in Act 2 or in Thraithorn in Act 1. We'll continue to optimize these incrementally in every patch, and we'll find all suboptimal cases. We've also added some improvements to the shop, obviously, and cosmetic panels, including the Equip Now button when purchasing, microtransactions, and added a new skin slot on the cosmetics page. And for some future microtransactions that will replace your base character skin and model, so you'll be able to choose your sex and appearance. Good. Okay, so conclusion. We summarise that our patch that we are hoping to deploy end of next week, but are keeping flexible as it might fall into the week afterwards. We will keep you updated with further changes and post some specifics on the uniques and soccer tools between now and then. Thank you all very much. Big win. I am looking forward to this. Yeah, Grinding Gear games continue to, drop banger after banger. It's a slow game. It is slow pace. We don't want them to be rushing things. We want them to fix it right. We want them to get it right. We're still in early access. People are forgetting that. And, I trust that this will end up being just an excellent game. And that is it for me, boring you all. I bid you adieu, a good night, a good evening, a good morning, wherever you may be in the world. Bye.